Admissions updates from AU, BU, and CU Boulder. That is the topic of today's video. My name is CollegeMeister. I'm a college admissions coach. You can learn more about me and how you can work with me one-on-one throughout the entire college admissions process on my website, which is CollegeMeister.com. And if you're interested in learning about whether or not you are or your student is on track for selective college admission in the United States of America, visit areyouontracktogetin.com. Again, that's areyouontracktogetin.com, at which you will complete a free 3-minute assessment. Your results will be emailed to you right away, and they will help you clarify whether or not you are or your student is on track for selective college admission in the United States of America. Let's start with 3 cheers for American University in Washington, D.C., which has become increasingly transparent recently with sharing invaluable admissions statistics. Here we learn that there were 22,777 applicants to American University during the 24-25 admissions cycle, and American is sharing other statistics that are quite valuable here as well, including that the university had an overall admissions rate of 54%. What I also love is that they break it down at American by admissions plan. I wish every college and university that is somewhat selective all the way to hyper selective would do this. Look, they had 572 total applicants during the 24-25 admissions cycle for early decision at American University, and that translated to having a 67% acceptance rate for early decision. Early action over at American yielded 14,005 total applications, and the admit rate was just a hair lower for early action than it was for early decision, an admit rate of 63% for early action. And regular decision, of course, is where all bets are off, not just at American, but a lot of universities around the United States. My goodness, 8,200 total applications and a paltry, for American at least, 27% acceptance rate for regular decisions. So the moral of the story, if American University is on your radar, you should be applying early decision or early action. There is no excuse not to. With such a spread like this, lock it down early so that you do not have to be fed to the sharks. Regular decision at American University. Next up, we want to take a look at BU. We started with AU, now we're on to BU, Boston University. BU has shared less valuable information than I would like, but it's still a nugget of valuable information, which is that 76,770 students overall applied to BU for the 24-25 admission cycle. So that's for fall 2025 entry. Interestingly, that's 2,000 fewer applications for first-year admission this admission cycle compared to last admission cycle. Don't get me wrong, BU is still getting a lot of applications for first-year admission. Comparing it to a school like American, which we just talked about, it's quite high when American only received 22,777 applications. This just goes to show what marketing does. I mean, BU has done an amazing job over the last 25 years of marketing itself as this awesome institution in a really exciting city. Meanwhile, American University is a pretty darn good institution, also in a very exciting city, and arguably a better city to be in, at least up until this year, for jobs upon graduation. Yet, American has not been as successful in the past 25 years at marketing itself and framing its brand in the minds of the consumer, also known as the parent of a high school student or the high school student him or herself. And that's why you see American University with only 22,777 total applications for the 24-25 admission cycle, whereas BU has 76,770 applications. BU is not that much better of a school, if it is better at all. But being better, whatever that means, it's like being prettier. I mean, how do you judge that? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? But BU is clearly prettier to a lot of applicants in terms of whatever is attracting applicants to submit applications. But does that make BU a better school? I would argue not. But clearly BU's been a much better marketer over recent years. BU also makes a huff about the fact that they will not yet release the racial composition of the class because they don't even know it themselves. and that they also have an overall admit rate this year. Again, this is including all their plans, ED1, ED2, regular, of just 11.8%. And of course, they humble brag that out in their communique by the Associate Vice President for Enrollment and Dean of Admissions, Kelly A. Walter, which was sent to counselors all around the world. And she says some other stuff too, but none of which is really worth sharing in this particular video. Again, something that Kelly did not note was that during the 23-24 admissions cycle, BU had an overall acceptance rate of 11%. So the acceptance rate has, of course, inched up a hair as BU has seen 2,000 fewer applicants this cycle compared to last cycle. And then finally, just for fun, since we did AU, we did BU, now we're going to go to CU Boulder. Why they call it CU Boulder, of course, CU, is because they don't want to get confused with UCs. But of course, the official name there is the University of Colorado Boulder. And it's a shame that they have to flip the letters like they're dyslexic. Not that there's anything wrong with being dyslexic, but they go by CU Boulder so as not to confuse the masses between the UC system and the University of Colorado. Anyway, I'm just going to share this, again, just for fun, to get to A, B, and C now. If you are someone who has questions about Colorado, CU Boulder will be having a first year Ask Me Anything on Wednesday, March 26, 2025, when you can follow along on Instagram as Carolyn Kelly, first year admission counselor, answers your questions about first year next steps, spring events, and campus life. Of course, CU Boulder shared its regular decision notifications very recently, and so there are still obviously students deciding whether or not they want to pull the trigger and attend CU Boulder, also known as the University of Colorado Boulder. They have, of course, until May 1st, the universal reply by date to make that decision. And I should note, of course, that there's not going to be any comparable event, as far as I know, on X, because similar to other schools in the United States of America, CU Boulder has dropped off of X in recent months. And of course, this is entirely political, based off of the political inclinations of the powers that be inside particular admissions offices. They stopped posting on X in the month of October over at CU Boulder, so there's not going to be any sort of live on X. Obviously, Instagram Lives are far more popular anyway amongst those people who want to ask questions about anything. I think Instagram, of course, hews more toward the female, whereas X would probably hew more toward the male at this point. So those who are going to want to take part in an Ask Me Anything Anyway are going to be probably more on Instagram. But it is to be noted that at a time when there's quite a bit of consternation in higher education about the direction of the United States of America, another institution, not just Ivy League institutions, but all the way down to a CU Boulder, has unilaterally put its hands up and walked away from a social media platform as large as X. And again, it's all being done for political reasons. Make a note of it. As we wrap things up, I want to remind you that you don't have to settle for the free videos alone. As you navigate the college admissions process, get the focused and personalized coaching and expertise you need to achieve your goals. My Smart Sessions meet you where you are in order to take you where you want to go. Meanwhile, if you want proactive support throughout the college application process and want to collaborate with a dedicated expert to submit applications that are simply meticulous, reserve your preferred Simply Meticulous experience as soon as possible. Space is limited due to the time and attention to detail required to pull off these extraordinary coaching experiences. No matter your distinctive objectives, you can achieve them. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, visit my website, which is CollegeMeister.com. And when you've finished your Common App and want to know if it's as strong as possible and whether or not in its current condition your chances of admission are impressive, inconclusive, or inadequate, you need my pre-read. Getting my pre-read now means having me review your entire application, just like an admissions officer or admissions committee will review it later, and receiving by email no later than the time you reserve a comprehensive report highlighting what's working and what's not on your full Common App and one Common App supplement. If you've yet to submit your Common App, my pre-read may motivate you to make adjustments to it before your deadline. If you've already submitted your Common App, my pre-read will prepare you for what I deem to be your likely admissions outcome at the institution in question. To purchase my pre-read now, go to mypreread.com. Again, that's mypreread.com. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. As mentioned previously, if you'd like to work with me one-on-one throughout the college admissions process, visit my website, which is CollegeMeister.com. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and most importantly, stay stress-free throughout the entire college admissions process.